Mercedes enthusiasts don't always have to insist on the S-Class. The luxury line includes models to meet the demands of eccentric drivers.
12, 13.
At first glance, these two cars don't divulge their class. They're for car enthusiasts who don't need to impress others. The Maserati Quattroporte and the Mercedes CLS, a four-door coupe based on the E-Class.
In the time it takes a handkerchief to fall to the ground. One of our love.
The name Maserati has long stood for motorsports and Dolce Vita. Perhaps the CLS 500 could entice some Italian car enthusiasts with its impressive and graceful silhouette.
Silk damask, swathed in bottle green. Memories.
First up, the Quattroporte. From the rear, it looks brawny and powerful. It's complemented by a delicate front end. The fine lines have been refined by Pininfarina, the haute couture of automotive design. The 8-cylinder, 4.2-litre engine generates 400 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. That's amazing for anyone used to a German V8 engine. The Maserati interior is chic yet discreet. It fits like an Armani suit, and you can only blame yourself if there's not enough comfort. This Mercedes doesn't fit the German carmaker's image. The CLS exhibits form and function, and has a visual presence that few other sedans can match. The V8 motor in the 500 generates 388 horsepower. The CLS's gently curved dashboard features premium materials and the excellent workmanship that has made the Mercedes name famous. Both feel at home on the Autobahn. The CLS offers comfort that is superior to the Quattroporte. The Mercedes is quieter and passengers won't notice any bumps in the road. Meanwhile, the Maserati demands a lot of passengers. The engine's hammering wail turns every ride on the Autobahn into a Formula One race. The front suspension could certainly use some improvement to cushion rides on bumpy roads, but that can be forgiven. Back on country roads, there's no stopping the car with the Trident logo. It feels at home in tight curves, and the 6-speed automatic transmission extracts plenty of power. The Mercedes is the better all-round automobile, and it's certainly not boring. The performance data of the CLS are impressive. And when it comes to value for money, the Mercedes gets the nod. In Germany, it sells for just over 75,000 euros, and the Quattroporte will set you back 112,000 euros.
BMW has rolled out its new 7 Series. Now in its 5th generation, the latest Beamer aims to convince with exclusive technology. A lot of new electronic bells and whistles have now been incorporated into the 7 Series design. The goodies include a camera that recognizes street signs, an infrared camera that pinpoints people and animals in the dark, and the iDrive system, which permits unrestricted internet access. And BMW's efficient dynamics concept has reduced consumption in the 3 new motors. Even the 407 horsepower variant supposedly just burns 11.4 liters per 100 kilometers. The VW Scirocco is back. In August, Volkswagen is hitting the street with a new version of the legendary sports car, 34 years after the very first one rolled off the assembly line. The latest Scirocco looks nothing like its predecessor. In terms of design, this car is looking forward. In the future, the Golf, Passat, and other VW designs will look more like the new Scirocco from the front. Customers can choose between 2 supercharged motors, packing 160 and 200 horsepower respectively.
This was the pride of Soviet car manufacturing, the Chaika, or in English, the Seagull. In 1959, the Soviet Union's first luxury limousine rolled off the assembly line. Only 3,000 of these exclusive government-issue vehicles were ever built, so the Chaika is a Russian legend. Vadim Antonichev, a car fanatic from Moscow, is the proud owner of one. He says he loves everything about the Chaika. When he drives through Moscow, everybody stares. Other drivers often let him through, which is completely unheard of there. They show their respect for the classic car by laughing, honking their horns and making jests, showing how much they like the automobile. It all began in this garage. Vadim Antonichev hammered away for 3 years on his first Seagull. The perfectionist used only the best original parts. Here he proudly shows us the Made in the Soviet Union badge. But Vadim Antonichev now has 3 Chaikas. He devotes hundreds of hours to the cars, but the enormous amount of energy doesn't put him off. In fact, he'd drop everything for his 200 horsepower classic car, and he's got plans for his 3 Seagulls. He tells us he has 3 children, and he wants to give each of them a Chaika as a present. His youngest is now 8 months old. After his birth, he set out to find another Seagull for him. He says it took him 2 years to find a car for his daughter. This one is from Uzbekistan. He says that makes his family very lucky. Yuri Gagarin was the first man to go into space in 1961, and upon his return, he drove a Chaika through jubilant crowds in Moscow. The convertible version of the road cruiser was specially produced for the event. In Soviet times, the vehicle was mainly reserved for ministers, ambassadors, and party leaders. Vadim Antonichev rents the Seagulls out on special occasions. Many consider the Chaika the most beautiful Russian car ever.